I am a child of the 80s and a teenager of the 90s. And as a psychic medium who was well aware of her abilities, probably around 6 and then again around 11 and 12. And then as I snowballed into the realization that I have all of my gifts and I can use them to help the greater good, it was a big journey. And growing up in the 80s, you didn't talk about intuition, and also none of the books that were about them were allowed in libraries, even because they were considered the occult. Satan worshipers, or fortune tellers, people who steal other people's money and lie to them. There was this whole archetype attached to being an intuitive. And so when I first started realizing that I had abilities, there was like a shame culture around it and almost like a taboo take on it as well. And then when I became a teenager of the 90s and I was like blown wide open, I think I was like 13 in 94, that was the time for like Sylvia Brown and John Edwards and the Psychic Network, like phone call channel or whatever. It was like the commercial that came on late at night. I was like, oh my God, there's people out there like me. And it felt amazing. And at the time I was Catholic and I was like looking into miracles and superstitions and folk saints and stuff like that. And I was like, there's a whole world out there. And I kind of opened up for a moment, but then I forgot again who I was until my brother's death 4 years ago. And then I really fully developed my mediumship abilities. So I created, just recently I started noticing another shift in our culture in the way of around intuition specifically. Like intuition isn't really considered spirituality. It's not considered a part of religion even. If anything, it's the opposite thereof. You can't have godliness inside of you and abilities inside of you and gifts and intuitive gifts if it's not given up to another deity. How could you possibly own it all yourself? And I'm finding that anyone who has that belief system limits themselves and aren't really able to grow and open up themselves to any other possibilities of what else is out there. And so I'm noticing that there are no collectives around intuition, around mediumship and psychic abilities. Everyone's kind of just doing their own thing, and I feel like that needs to change. And so I created a Substack where I'm going to be contributing a shit ton of information to this site. I was writing down ideas like just yesterday, and I think I came up with 140, and that is like just the bare minimum of what I want to talk about. Eventually, I do want to do a podcast around mediumship because there's a lot of stuff that people don't talk about when it comes to being a psychic and a medium, and it's not about my own. It's not about my own abilities or gifts, but it's about like the things that I experience with other people, the energies that are out there, the universe, the paradigms, the dimensions. All of those things that feel very lofty and big should be talked about on a big platform. And so that's what I'm creating. But in the future, all of my videos are going to be around intuition, right? And here's the thing I want to leave you with today. I want to tell you one of my core values and tenets that I live by. And that is that all of us have a gift. All of us have intuition. And if anyone says anything to you of like, oh, women are more intuitive or men, just aren't in touch with themselves, I want you to reframe that thought process as a wound. And of course, we know that that wound comes from the patriarchy, but where it comes from is we are designed to be separated from ourselves. We are designed not to be able to connect to that inner power because it keeps us in control. It keeps us in line. And the more that we regain our autonomy over our intuition, we are reclaiming ourselves. We are reclaiming and I always talk about our divine feminine, but our intuition, our inner child, that knowing that gift, which is not your brain, it's all the way up here. The more that you do that, the more ungovernable you become because you realize just how capable we are beyond our physical bodies. And I want to leave you with that today, is that if you feel watching this video, oh, I couldn't be a medium, or I don't have psychic abilities, or that's for women because they're better at it, those are all the lies that we've been fed from day one. We are all born with the knowledge. We are, it's until we start, socializing and being conditioned by our family and our friend groups that we lose a little bit of that knowledge unless it is encouraged with all of us. And I just want to leave you with that, is that I want you to think about What's your first memory around having a gift, if you were a man or woman, masculine or feminine? And what was that experience like for you? Was it empowering? That said, check out my Substack. I'm going to leave a link in the bio, and also in the comments as well. But this collective and this area is going to be designed specifically around helping you find your intuition and tap into your abilities and your gifts. Have a good one.